This is beautiful. My God. Why go to woods when you have game? Oh, hi there. You came just in time. My pants are still on. What do you think of beauty? We probably both like it because we're gamers, but is it fleeting or is there a depth to something beautiful? We are surrounded by our own physical spaces, always, and it's just a matter of observing what's on the wall. What story do the cracks in the cement tell? Where does this opening in the brush lead? I think of novels like Fellowship of the Ring or movies like Y Tu Mama Tambien and how they evoke a sense of place and history with their portrayals of a world. But video games have a much larger capacity to evoke these feelings because you control them. You know that. So, I think about video game environments frequently. I think about their storytelling capacity based on my natural inclination to poke around and hunt for the texture seams because I'm crazy. But at their best, games can guide us to discoveries that remind us of the feelings surrounding us at all times. I want to explore that. So grab yourself a cup of coffee to journey with me through the funky frontier of strange games. Kicking it off with the classic 2008 open-world sandbox crime game Saints Row 2. It features one of the most detailed and interesting open-world cities I've seen in video games. It has like a freaking bajillion unique and expressive details, but I'm only going to show a few, but I encourage you to dive in if you haven't because this digital city is brimming with a feeling of life and history. One more note, if you play on PC, get it on GOG because that version is more stable, and install the Juiced mod at the very least. Anyway, let's start with this cool little art gallery in the museum district. It's clearly a tourist area. These buses give that away. I can't think of something exact, but it reminds me of my local library growing up in Ohio, which had a little gallery off the side of the entrance. The gallery was modest, but the library itself was kind of fancy. But even fancier, right across from this little gallery are these cool ruins that you can play a mission in. But that little gallery, it's just there. It doesn't need to have so much detail, but I love this game just says, why not? Even parking garages have a unique flavor to them. Like an architect had big ideas, but the assignment was a f***ing parking garage. Driving through downtown, you see the ads for in-game radio stations and businesses, but then the way the blocks change is remarkably familiar. How some buildings look a little more run down on the outskirts of the commercial districts, and as you go further, you make your way to the suburbs and it becomes far calmer. Classic city. But Saints Row 2 isn't interested in realism exactly, it's more about expression. So check this, I've played a lot of Saints Row 2, but I've never seen this before. A barbershop quartet, just chilling on a basketball court, so I just hung out.
Sing this song, doo-dah, doo-dah.
I tried to shoot hoops while listening to this lovely little performance, and amazingly, it doesn't just loop after a minute. They have multiple songs, and then there's a juggler in the corner. It's so cool. There's so much to do in this game. It is an incredibly robust open world experience, but there are these wonderful details that are rewards in and of themselves. Some are considered secrets and have a counter, some aren't. I think we get caught up in the collectathons, achievements, and mission design in open world games, and Saints Row 2 has all of that in abundance, but it is also, curiously, an incredibly calm experience if you want it to be. A video game world that reflects our own in an exaggerated but felt way that makes us feel a sense of connection to this place. Take, for instance, the underground sex dungeon beneath the cemetery connecting the trailer park. This feels a little too real. If you've ever lived in Cleveland, Ohio, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm totally kidding. I love Cleveland. But back when I lived on Earth, I remember I was on a 48-hour film shoot in the House of Wills in 2015. The House of Wills was an old opera house that began operation in 1900, which changed purposes frequently until John Walter Wills bought the property in 1941 and turned it into a funeral parlor as well as his personal living quarters. And now it's abandoned. But there are still tours given to this day. And my God, I've never seen anything like it. Just to give an example, there was a statue of Jesus cut in half with his guts hanging out. Boink and Mary probably, I don't know, I'm not religious. And there was this massive chair just sitting tall right next to a normal chair. You can see the difference. On one of the top floors, which was dilapidated, there was a ripped out page of an old Penthouse magazine just lying around. Like, what's this doing in an old funeral home? So the silly thing I saw in Saints Row 2 reminds me viscerally of that experience, funny enough. And I have to plug the video RnK All day I got these stills from. I decided not to play the footage so you can go support the creator yourself, link in the description. I'd highly recommend it. We're going back 8 years earlier to Driver 2, but specifically Re-Driver 2. It's the fan-made source port of the PS1 game that's for PC. Remarkable project. It's so cool to see the game perform over 10 frames a second. Well, seriously though, this is what it looked like. Like, this game was so crazy advanced for a PS1 game that it barely worked. Most games are held up by duct tape and string, and it's a miracle this works at all, but this game shows it. The original had a draw distance less than half of what I have here. In addition, you can see the seams in the environment overlapping geometry, also known as Z-fighting. Our main boy Tanner looks perma-constipated and the difficulty can be brutal. Check out the infamous mission Chase the Gunman, which I beat, by the way. I'll show you the clip in a minute, but man is the driving good. It holds up. But like, after tackling the stress-inducing main campaign mode, it's a real joy to enter the free ride and just chill around the 4 different cities in the game. It's about the place. It's still cool. It has verve and detail. Check out Chicago. It looks modest at first, but let's look closer. You see the different neighborhoods on the map, and they actually are different. It has Ukraine Town, Greek Town, and etc. I need to see Greek Town because I am Greek and I am impressed by the details specific to that area. I know they're specific because I go to Ukraine Town and there's a different vibe to its architecture and signage. I was expecting so much more copy-paste. Of course, it's an open-world PS1 game, but there's still a lot, and it's really well observed. But the main attraction is Wrigley Field. It has these beautiful 2D crowds, and you can observe Chicago from a nice vantage point, which is, by the way, fairly rare. It's a generally pretty flat game. It's modest, yes, but it hits in a way games with exponentially more polygons and features fail to do. Because Driver 2 is suggesting provocatively due to extreme limitations on its resources and ambitions far greater than the limits of the hardware. I know it's off topic, but I want to brag because Chase the Gunman is legendarily difficult. It's pretty mission too, and set in Rio, so here we go. I know some people start by driving the other car, which seems to have higher handling and top speed, but I don't know, it's finicky to maneuver to. I prefer the default, but this beginning section is so important. You can get massive damage, even more than what I got, as long as you don't spin out. The driver is immovable and completely scripted, so the trick is to carefully tap him so you don't bounce off. It's the single reason why this mission is infamous, because if you spin out, you have to restart. I play it safe in this section because you can't catch up again until you reach the beautiful mountain road overlooking the water. Look at that statue, isn't it nice? There's no time to gawk. I've got to raise an insurance claim. I get lucky. In the stupidest way, like I completed my mission, it doesn't matter that I'm plummeting to my death. And that's ultimately what I was going for, a massive bout of luck. Because it doesn't take long to realize you need RnJesus to be smiling upon you, because the level is semi-randomized and some start conditions are far more favorable than others. Like, ugh. I am glad this fan-made port exists, but after 40 fucking tries my heart is racing and I need to calm down. And there's no better way to do that than doofing off with Skyrim mod packs. Specifically, I'm talking about Nolvus. Though I've spent more time in other mod packs, I think Nolvus does an extraordinary job of bringing Skyrim's land to life, presenting its history, a sense of place, and probably smells, let's be real. I've played a lot of version 5, but version 6 is finally here in beta, and I'll be denoting which version I'm displaying. But note, this is Nolvus 6.0.5 beta. 6.0.10 has been released recently, and I haven't kept up mainly because the team has been rapidly iterating and usually a new update needs a new save, and I'll dive in later. Anyway, but what we have here is astonishing. It's breathtaking what Vector and his crew have done to merge the work of the Skyrim community's incredibly hard work into a custom vision with custom patching and tweaks exclusive to this version to diversify the nature, roads, and all environments to spectacular fidelity and stability. I do want to note I'm playing on the very highest settings with exterior cities enabled, which means the cities are part of the Skyrim overworld, and as you see, just open a door and you're there. I would not recommend this without using an upscaler mod and even using frame generation. But it's cool, this is the no compromise version, because Nolvus has 3 different versions, but it's extraordinarily laid out and it's designed for a large contingent of different hardware, so you don't need a supercomputer to play it with these beautiful graphics. Anyway, Nolvus is a vibe. The sounds, the look, the feel, the ambiance are peak. In my version 6 footage, I'm showing what summer looks like, but there are actual seasons in this, so it will change as in-game days pass. I believe my version 5 footage was fall, but regardless, you can see it's utterly evocative, the way the textures look like you can touch them, how the wind looks wisping through the grass or the snow. There's a remarkable tactile sensory quality to just chilling in this take on Skyrim. Check the vibrant glades near Riften, the earthy marsh near Solitude, the snowy peaks overlooking Riverwood. I don't have footage from my thumbnail pick for this video, but there was this incredible dust near the Solitude shore, or the cobblestone pathway underneath the Solitude rock arch, or the heavy rainstorm I found my characters stuck in on their adventures. It all felt so beautiful and magical, like I could point anywhere and take a screenshot, something I did frequently. And low-key, this magical earthiness reminds me of another place in Ohio. Athens, with its gorgeous rolling hills and serene country roads. These pics were taken just 5 minutes drive from the freeway. Beauty is everywhere, yo, and sometimes it's hidden in plain sight. Like 47. Y'all remember Hitman Blood Money? I'm focusing on the New Life mission because that's basically among the GOAT missions of the entire series. I love every mission in the World of Assassination trilogy, let me be real, and I have a crap ton of nostalgia for the original quadrilogy, and Blood Money was the peak. And you visit these incredible locations like an Argentinian vineyard, a French opera, Mardi Gras, but to Hitman Blood Money and New Life is relatively mundane on its surface. It's just some fancy neighborhood in California overlooking the city, but it's remarkably interesting contrasted with the missions prior. Obviously, it's a handful of mid-sized McMansions, but what's below the surface? Well, first we see the jogging dude.
Top of the morning to you, friend.
That's normal. The suspicious ladies tending to their gardens.
Excuse me? I live here. What do you think you're doing?
Yeah, normal. But what's that white van? What is that stupid hot dog truck? And the men in suits? Witness protection? Interesting. This doesn't have the immediate whip of sensory details like Nolvus, but it beckons me to delve further because of its suggestions of details that unfold as I press forward. It's honest to God tier level design, crumbs of aesthetic in a familiar place leading us to explore with the game's mechanics. I need to get in the house? Well, there's a lot of heat in front, but there's a little door with a dog and a camera. How do I deal with this? Okay, well, I can poison the donuts in the stupid hot dog truck, give them to the idiot FBI guys in the surveillance van.
Full disclosure, we're actually FBI.
Neutralize those cameras, then sneak past the nosy neighbor through the garage and take a hot dog that was left in the back. Poison that with the non-lethal stuff, knock out the dog, then get through the gate. And I have this old memory of just walking past the guards, no disguise, and not getting spotted. But whatever I did, I'm doing it wrong. I handle it, whatever. And oh, piss, I got spotted. Oh, we're just gonna go gun crazy here. I don't feel like dealing with old Hitman jank right now, not gonna lie. I want to look at these interesting rooms. I love these details in these rooms because I think these are ignored fairly often in videos of this game. Like, here's Vinny's China. Every greatest generation person in my life, grandparents, great uncles, aunts, etc., had these ornate plates in these softly lit rooms with ochre or various other dark colors contrasting with the brighter porcelain whites popping from shelves, but often regretfully tarnished by carpet the color of unseasoned green beans freshly slopped out the can. None of us are perfect. But I came here for a reason. I did the thing, and I'll see myself out. And so, talking about exploring, we talked about poking around, slowing down, looking at the details, things hidden in plain sight. What about the next level of poking around? What about when we level up our lollygagging stat and invest in finding the tucked away perk? Know what I'm saying? It's Wario Land 2. A big nostalgic one for me. I used to play the black and white version on my ballin' silver Game Boy Pocket tucked in the back seat when my parents took me on long car rides. But this is the color version, which I never played. So this is new to me. I love the Wario Land games, specifically 2 and 3, and I was disappointed when Nintendo stopped making them to focus on the WarioWare microgame series. Those are definitely fun, but much less interesting. But what's so special about Wario Land? It's not a palette swap of Mario. I think the most immediate feature of the game is you can't die. There is no HP. When you're hit, you get knocked back, and you lose coins, which are used to purchase fun extras for completionists, but that's it. It's a puzzle platformer that encourages observation and exploration. It does this by enticing the player with frequent but not excessive secret areas with nice rewards, in addition to occasional secret exits that lead to a whole path of secret levels. And even better, like all the games in this video, you're playing in frequently changing and unique environments that often echo real-world locations rather than the frequently abstract Mario levels of that era. I cannot overstate just how fun it is to maneuver around the levels to find these secrets. It sometimes borders on paranoia. I'll usually attack the walls, the ground, throw some enemies at them as well, just doing my due diligence to check, is there a secret? As I itch myself from my secret withdrawal I only sated like a minute prior. There are mansions, woods, trains, and my favorite, the city levels. I love these, man. It feels like 2D Chicago to me. If we could look at the roads, we would see Tanner driving recklessly. But I love your being a total asshole, weaving through people's apartments to chase these weirdos who stole your money. It's very 90s, very much like Duke Nukem before it, with insane, bizarre stuff going on amidst the suggestion of palpable city blocks and apartment buildings. Those environments have a soul to them. So in the first level, it's definitely on easy mode for finding most of the secrets, because it's good game design, but it teaches the player to be curious and want to discover those. And for my final IRL reference, I'm thinking about my old town in the cool man-planted woods beyond the train tracks I would get yelled at for crossing. Trains didn't pass by on them or anything, but there was a lady who worked in a business overlooking these tracks, and she'd yell at me for crossing it every time. It didn't matter, I could go another way, don't tell me what to do. But this is the only photo I could find. But yeah, a whole man-planted woods with a lot of dead trees with no public entrance. I remember a friend of mine pushed one of those trees to the ground. Just like Wario, we were looking for secrets. I think Wario Land 2 reinforced that sense of curiosity to poke around and find discoveries. And life is full of them, you know? And a good game can teach that in a remarkably palpable way that other media can do, but games have 3 dimensions and we have larger levels of control over what we see in a game. I mean, it's not the same as going out and exploring somewhere, but human brains are remarkably nuanced and we can fill out our understanding of the world from the limited experiences we have from reinforcement through art. We read novels and watch movies and play games to connect ourselves to a larger consciousness, but it can't happen in a vacuum like space. But also we have limited time. We can't always go out to explore the woods or look at a dilapidated funeral home, but there's a common thread present in each discovery we make in life and media. We want to explore. We want to discover something new. And a good game doesn't just reinforce that, it fills out the crevices of our lived experience. And I think it's good to look and observe. However, don't stress over what you haven't seen. There's already a million little stories around you right now, wherever you are. And you've already experienced a million. I know that for a fact. And because of that, I know you've experienced something profound from simply exploring a game. So go out and pixel peep some games. Let me know what you find. I want to hear in the comments. Thanks for watching.